We are crossing live to Absrod Oval, where the Scodfather will speak to the press.
I heard that he is in a grumpy mood.
Hello everybody, welcome to my channel and thank you for joining. Now in today's episode we have the Saturday night press conference. Just coming down. Now we had some very interesting games. We had a few spuds, which is what we normally do. We collect the spuds. We had a few of them in our team. We missed out on a few studs. So we're going to go through it, all of it. We're going to go for the whole thing and see what we missed, what we got, and what we shouldn't have got. Now, the first game today is where all the drama happened, okay? There was the Essendon and Hawthorn game, and then there was more drama in the next game, the GWS North Melbourne game. But let's get to the Essendon and Hawthorn game first, and let's get to Essendon first. Now, this was a game that the Bombers won, which obviously you know that already, just coming down. But who starred in this game? All right, let's have a look. Well, McGrath, his price at, well, I didn't know this, all right. When you click on the player, you can actually see their price. So you can see McGrath's price. The only thing that I don't think is true is when you click on it, you can see the percentage owned, and I don't think that's up to date. So, all right, so the price for McGrath, 485k. A defender, okay? Now, that's not a bad first-up score, 131, all right? So we didn't really expect that from McGrath. If you owned Merritt, you would have been very nervous, thinking that he may cop the tag. Well, he didn't, and he went bananas, okay? So he went 127, 31 touches, had a great game. The tackle count, only 5, okay? But he looked good. Now, Archie Perkins, he's a 368k, and he played a lot. Well, you can almost say a lot in the midfield. Okay, played a bit in the forward line, but is mainly in the midfield. Now he's only there until probably till Parrish comes back, but he actually looks really good. And for 368k, that's a steal. Okay, 14 kicks, 10 handballs. But he's got 2 goals in that score. So we've had 2 goals, probably looking about 100, but still okay. It's a very good score. Now the Spud, okay, set a Spud, he's teasing again, okay, just coming down, don't get excited. It's a tease, okay. He did this last year. In the second game, he went 145 last year in round 2. All right, so don't get too excited right now. Just coming down. So set a Spud, we know. Actually, he played really good. That's the worst part. He actually looked good. Anyway, forget about set a Spud. Now, going down here, okay. Now Redmond, obviously, we're not Supercoach relevant this year, but a player that was Supercoach relevant, all right, is Nick Martin. Okay, 93 fantasy points. Okay, so you'd say, well, 93 fantasy points, probably what 120 or something like that. Like when you go to 109, you go to 131 Supercoach. So when you get a 90 fantasy points, you're probably looking about 120 in normal circumstances. But no, not this Spud. Okay, this Spud, he scored 63. Just coming down. I couldn't believe what I was seeing. The Hawthorn players were actually passing the ball to him. They make sure that he had the ball because they know they're going to get it back. He just passed to them. So the Hawks, I can't believe they lost. They had, well, most teams, when they have 22 players or 23 players, the Hawks had 24. The Bombers only had 22. And the Hawks still lost, even though they had an extra player. Because I'm sure that where is he? The Spud. I'm sure that he played for the Hawks. He didn't play for the Bombers. Now, he went at 56%. Now, that's quite impressive because he was going at 20% at quarter time. Actually, he never got the 50% for the whole game. Maybe towards the end, he got the 56%. And that's 56% with 25 touches. It was one of the worst performances I've ever seen from a supposed primo. And we're going to sack him. We can't keep him in that club. He was useless. Okay, so he's gone. Now, check this boy out. Tsatsis, okay? He played 40% time on ground, so maybe a quarter and a half. Scored 62. He virtually scored the same as what Nick Martin scored, that he played the whole game, But he only needed 40%, and he's a rookie. Just come down. Okay, it was unbelievable. Now, if we keep going down, we had a problem. Okay, we had another injury. Zach Reed, he had a hamstring awareness. Okay, so we're not sure. Okay, if he's going to be out next week or playing, so we don't know. So we're going to find out. Hopefully, nothing serious. So we'll find out soon. Now we go to the Hawks. Ambrosio, okay, Massimos D'Ambrosio, okay, I think that's how you pronounce it. 224k. He went nuts. He scored 122. I can't believe that I didn't pick him. Okay, well, not many did. We couldn't because there were too many rookies. He sort of at an awkward price. Didn't show much in the preseason. We had Amon in the team. We didn't know what he was going to score, okay? So it was an unknown. Well, now we know, okay? He had 29 touches. He went nuts. And he looked so good. Essendon should have just kept him and got rid of, what's his name, Marta. Just come down. Anyway, Ambrosio, he went at 72%, 13 contested possessions. He looked good. And I could almost say he's a must-have at that price. You can't get anyone at 200k that can score 120. It's impossible. So we've got to have him in our teams. And virtually, I'm going to get him next week. Okay. The first thing I'm going to do is trade out Martin and bring in Ambrosio. Okay, he's going to come in. Now, Warple is, of course, because last year I had Warple as well, and he scored a 112. He was a spud as well. Him and Setterfield were mates, and they must have known that I'm going to watch them, because Warple, he scored a 112. He went nuts as well, the spud. Now, going down here, who has a Supercoach relevant? Well, Dylan Moore. The only problem is he's not cheap. He's 500k. Could be a top 6 forward end of the year, so keep an eye on Dylan Moore. Scored a 104, very impressive. But the problem with his score, he's got 3 goals in there. Okay, so he's not always going to kick 3 goals. So, and he played mainly as a forward. So I'm not 100% sold on Moore, because what happens when he kicks no goals? Okay, so then what is he going to score? So you want someone that kicks no goals and scores 100. Then you know it is very good. Okay. Now, anyway, let's go further down. Amon took some kick-ins, kicked a goal from defence, which is not bad, but only at 89, and probably a pass. He's taking out midfield spots. You need these midfield spots to score 110s, 120s. You need those kind of scores. You can't give up an M4 or an M5 spot to someone scoring 89s. It's just not enough. Okay. That position is not there to make money. That position is there to score points, and Amon just didn't do it. Similar to Nick Martin, but Nick Martin was a bigger spud. Now, going down, the big disappointment, or there's a few disappointments in this team, and pre-season, Joy Newcomb was talked up. Okay, a lot of chatter about Joy Newcomb, 66. Now that is atrocious. Okay, and he's not cheap. He's 550k. All right, scored 66. That's disaster. If you've got him, I feel sorry. Okay, what can I say? I mean, I would have picked him. I thought he was good. Okay, I watched him pre-season. He looked fit. He looked good. The problem is that mid spots, you need stars. Okay, and unfortunately, Joy Newcomb, even though he's a champion player, okay, he's not a champion Supercoach player. And I mean, he had 21 disposals, only went at 61%. Only laid 1 tackle, okay? You got your midfielders laying 1 tackle. Later on, when you get to the weapon, he laid 10 tackles, okay? You need grunt in that midfield. You need someone strong. I mean, he looks like Tarzan when he plays. He looks so strong. Only 1 tackle. Just come a deal. What's wrong with you? Anyway, I think Joe Newcomb, I would actually trade him out. If you've got Joe Newcomb, you need that midfield spot to score points. You can't afford 66s. It's going to let you down. Now, going further down, another disappointment is Cam McKenzie. People were talking him up as well. And 57, 41 dream fantasy points, 57 Supercoach. For a price at 270k, You can get Jordan, you can get Fife at that price. It's not enough. I mean, you see Ambrosio, he's a lot cheaper. Scored 122. So at that price, 270, you actually want 90 plus minimum. So is a pass. If you've got him, is a time to go. Okay, time to say goodbye to him. Now, going down the order, there's someone that wasn't very very well played at all. The sick dog. This is disaster. If you've got him, 630k for sick dog, 43. That is atrocious. Okay, I would have smashed my PC if I owned Sicily. Okay, we sort of knew that he wasn't going to score well. Okay, in the pre-season we saw it because Amon was taking the kick-ins, Amon was taking his points. Plus he played once Phillips wasn't named. We knew that Sicily was going to be locked down, and that was a problem. In the second half, he sort of moved out of that lockdown position, but just didn't get his hands on the ball. He looked lost. 43 points, it's just not enough. Wait till he falls down. Wait till their defence settles, and then we can pick up Sicily under 500 the way he's going. Okay, maybe even cheaper. The magic number is very high, and what happens when you score have a low score? Your price gets smashed. Luckily, it's only the first round of the cycle. So if this score was in round 3. This will be disaster for the owners. Anyway, we got a Nick Watson. The role's not there, okay? Not for Supercoach. I mean, his role is there for himself, but not for Supercoach. So 26 points is very expensive. He's 190k nearly. Big pass on Nick Watson. We now go over to the next game, and GWS versus North Melbourne. And to be honest, I was actually shocked how close this game was. Okay, North Melbourne played very well, although GWS did have 36 shots on goals to 17. Okay, but the score looks better, but doesn't matter. Okay, they still played okay. Now, if you jumped on Jesse Hogan, okay, 165, you can still get him for 400k. It's not for me. Okay, he's gonna make you some cash, but for me, the more important thing right now is to fix your team up. Than making you're still gonna make cash with your rookies. Okay, your team structure, your team balance, fixing your team up is the most important thing right now for me. So for me, Jesse Hogan probably a pass, even though he scored a 165. It's not the time of the year where you can go. Bring in a big scoring player and do fancy stuff, trade him out, bring in another high scoring player. You can't play like that. But fixing your team and balancing it for me is more important. Plus, he has to buy in round 3, and I've got too many of those players. Now, Tom Green, absolute jet, and it's going to be his year. Okay, and I called it early. Okay, I actually called this in December. And Tom Green, you got to understand, sports bet agencies have Tom Green as the number 1 possession getter. These sport betting agencies never get this wrong. Okay, and if they've got Tom Green as the highest possession getter in all the AFL, the chances are Tom Green's going to be the highest possession getter. Okay, usually they get it right. They got money on this. Okay, they got millions, or I don't even know, maybe billions. I don't know, but they've got it right. So Tom Green is going to have a massive year, and the good thing about Tom Green, it's the contested possessions that get you the points. 16 contested possessions. Only 6 clearances. Clearances don't get you points. We saw last week, Raul, he had 20 clearances. He only scored 130 points. It's not the clearance, it's the contested possessions that get you the points. So, Green is a jet. And if you don't have Green, you need to get him before he does any more damage for you. Now, Lockie Whitfield, I couldn't afford him. I really wanted him. I just couldn't afford him. And he went 118. He went nuts. I should have got him. I should have just not got Sanders and just got Whitfield, but I didn't do it. I'm kicking myself just coming down. Anyway, Whitfield, 118. He looked good, but again, it's that bye round. It's all the best players have the round 3 bye round. Okay, Gold Coast and GWS, only 2 teams, and they shared the most important bye round, I think, because they got all the good players. Now, Josh Kelly, Cornelius, they're not Supercoach relevant, okay, but they used to be, but they're not now, although they did have a day out, okay, so 116, 113. We go further down, Cadman, down 130, 127k. You've got to get this boy. If you don't have him, you need to get him. Scored 72, kicked 2 goals, and plays a bit of ruck, scores a bit of points around the grounds. GWS is a very strong team, and they do pass the ball to him to kick some goals. So Cadman, you must get. Toby Green, we're just waiting. His price is going to drop. Once it drops, pick him up and put him on the bench. He's going to have a day out one day. Now, going further down, disappointments. Okay, first one, Himmelberg, 59. You can't blame Himmelberg for being disappointing, because North Melbourne only had 17 shots on goal. So obviously the ball didn't get there, okay? So Himmelberg didn't have much of a job to do. But if you say that, but you got Jack Buckley, scored a 105. So if the ball didn't get there, how did he score 105? Well, that's a good argument. So you can't say the ball didn't really get there, because it did. Because you got Taylor scored a 93. So you got Taylor 93, Buckley 105, and you got Whitfield 118. Himmelberg was the one that missed out. So anyway, he might have another day out, but looks like he's not primo material. And bigger disappointment than Himmelberg is Kieran Briggs. Well, what's happened to him? Even last week he was disappointing. Even worse this week, and he played against a ruckman, Tristan Sherry, who went nuts. And mind you, Briggs had 20 hitouts, Sherry had 19. It doesn't make any sense. We'll get to Sherry in a minute, but something wrong with Briggs. We go to the rookies, and you got Weir, 46 for a rookie. It's okay, but there's much better rookies than him out there, and same as Thomas. So I would fix this up. Wait till next round, next week. Let them play. Make it maybe 40k each, and then just trade them out and get somebody else, because it's much better. You want to get the best rookies, okay? Now, these two are going to be sub-risks, okay? It's very dangerous right now to have these. Now, we go to North Melbourne, okay? And they've got some really good fantasy players as well. The main man is Cheezels. Now, 130 Supercoach points. Last year, I didn't start Cheezels. It hurt me so much. So this year, I learnt my lesson. Same as Dacos. I didn't start them. I mean, once bitten, twice shy. You need to learn from your own lessons, and I did. So I picked up Cheezels. There's no way I was not going to have Cheezels. 130 Supercoach points, 20 free kicks, 9 hits. He's just a machine, okay? 90%, there's no clangers here. 90% disposal, no clangers for Cheezel. Or what a jet, okay? He's a scoring machine. Now, LDU, we saw in the pre-season, didn't look that good, okay? Didn't look interested. But when he gets interested, he does score well. So score of 121. Very, very happy if you're an owner. He's 630k, so he scored according to his price. So you got what you paid for with LDU. But there are cheaper options that are scoring similar. Okay, so sometimes you can go a little bit cheaper and get the ones that are scoring similar to LDU at a much better price. Sherry is one of them. Sherry is priced at 400k, 407k, and 107 against a good ruckman. Now, Briggs is a good ruckman, hard to score against, and you're going 107 against Briggs. That's a fair effort. I'm thinking about downgrading to him later on to get some extra cash out of him, and then upgrading to I'll see how it works. It's too much mucking around, but anyway, I'm just thinking about it right now. I don't have him in my team. Now, Powell is priced at 312k, scored a 95, had a good roll, 26 touches, went at 84%. He looked good. Much better than Zach Fisher, okay? Well, because he plays in the same position in the forward line for us in Supercoach. But I'm not sure if I'm going to go there with Powell, but he did look very good. Now, Colby McKercher, I had inside mail that he's going to play midfield. Well, that didn't eventuate because he didn't play midfield. He played in defence. And he had virtually Sheasel's role exactly. And he was perfect. And I don't have him, okay, because I've built my team with cheap rookies because that got me extra primos. Some of them, I called them primos, but they weren't really primos. But it doesn't matter. They were spuds just coming down. But McKercher scored 88 Supercoach points. I mean, what more can you ask for? He's priced at 200k, 202k. Have to get him. I don't know if I can get him this week. I might have to get him the following week. Now, Wardlaw, okay, is priced at 365k, and 69 is not enough. Okay, so I don't think Wardlaw is Supercoach relevant. He doesn't get enough of the ball. 17 touches. He's a jet of a player, okay? It's a gun. He reminds me, the way he plays reminds me of the weapon of Rowell. But it's just that he's still in the young, fresh ages. Like, his time on ground is 72%. It's not enough. He needs to get it to 85. He's got no tank at the moment. Now, going further down, is there anyone else of interest? Well, there's a spud, okay? His name is Zach Fisher. Now, we called him the Fish, okay? He's actually a shark, okay? He conned us. He pretended he was a fish, but then he played like a fish, just coming down. It's a spud. Biggest spud I've ever had. Probably worse than Setterfield. Probably even worse than Martin. I can't believe I picked him. He sucked me in. I got conned. He's a con artist. And he's out the door straight away. I can't wait till the app opens and just kick him. Just want to kick him in the bum. Just coming down. Anyway, anyone else? Well, there's more con artists here. Okay, Lazaro, if you've got him, 180k for a rookie that only scores a 42. That's disgraceful. Now, if you've got Lazaro, he's a not good. There's much better options at much cheaper price. Big pass, very disappointing. I mean, you got Toby Pink, 123k, or a different position, but even that's not good enough. At least 123k. Lazaro, 181k, a big difference. And that's all for this game. We now go over to Geelong and St Kilda. Now, I had the TV on, so I was watching this at the first quarter, because I was watching my boy here, Bonner, all right? And then I sort of switched in between to the Gold Coast game, because I had my other boy, okay, Rel. I didn't know which one to watch. They're both my boys. I like them so much. Anyway, with this game, I sort of watched most of it, all right? But I was sort of switching channels. Danger, I must have missed the pass where he went nuts, because I didn't see him score 134. So I must have missed Danger going nuts, but he's not Supercoach relevant. Jeremy Cameron scored a 120. Now, when I owned Jeremy Cameron last year, in the 10 games he played for me, or the 6 games or 8 games or whatever, I don't think the total of the 8 games matched 120. The first game he's not playing for me, he goes 120, just coming down. Spud. Okay, don't forget about him. The player that impressed me a lot was Holmes. Now, he was on 80 at half time. That's when I changed the channel. Okay, so I actually didn't see what happened to him. So he scored 32 more points for the second half. So what happened to him? How did he stop? But 14 kicks, 9 handballs. When I saw him, he looked so good. So 450k, 446k, a good option. Okay, very good option for you. For me, it's a pass. I want the best in that midfield now. After I saw Nick Martin, I don't want any defender in my midfield except for Bonner, and he's cheap. So I'm going to pass on Holmes. I want players that can get me the contested possessions. Okay, like here, Danger, 12 contested possessions. Danger, 6 tackles. They're the players I want. All right, I want players in the midfield that are like animals. Okay, they're beasts. I want the tough guys. Now, Tom Stewart, 105. It's not bad, okay? However, 635k, lost a lot of his points to Holmes, okay? On a normal game, Tom Stewart, this would have been a 130, 140 game for him, but Holmes is taking his points. He's sharing. So I'm going to wait on Stewart for a while. No rush, okay? Now, Oliver Dempsey, 3 goals, 96 Supercoach points. That's brilliant. Okay, he had a day out, and almost a must-have soon. I'm going to wait another week for him, and then pick him up in round 3 and see how he goes. Looks like you got to have him. Now, if we keep going down, is there anyone else that's relevant? Well, there is. I'm getting to him now. There's 2 of them. Now, Jai Clark, he scored 13 points, 59% time on ground. Okay, 13 points. I've got him on my bench. Some people have him on field. It was a disgraceful effort for Supercoach, although he did look good as a player, okay, but for Supercoach, it was terrible. He had 13 touches to get his 13 points. He's just as bad as Martin when it comes to Supercoach. He needs to have 100 touches to get 100 points. That's not good. It's very hard to do that right now. So, Jai Clark, I've got him on the bench. I'm going to trade him out in round 3 and bring in McKercher to replace him. And now, we have Sean Manor. He was a sub. He more than doubled Clark's score in just 1 quarter. 26% time on ground. Manor is a jet. Very fantasy relevant. Problem is, we don't like him wearing that vest, so it's a very danger. Okay, if he's we don't know if he's is best 23, best 24. He needs to be in the best 20 before we can pick him. We now go over to St Kilda. And Rowan Marshall, 127. I mean, you saw Griggs score, 60, whatever it was. Well, you got a ruckman like Rowan Marshall scoring 127. He's a must-have. Well, he's a must-have, but can't get him later on, okay? I don't have to start him now, but he will be a must-have later on. Because the reason for that is, well, he only had 2 tackles. I actually thought he had more than that. It's a contested possession, it's only 7, so it's actually not one of his best games, and he still did well. Now, Jack Steele, he's back. You can see here, 6 tackles, which is very low for him. Okay, so he can go to 10. So add another 4 tackles, that's 16 points. That's 135 points. 12. This is the players I like, the contested possessions. 12 for the midfielder. You want these bulls in there, getting these points. Like the Libbers, all these kind of players, they always get the contested possessions. So Jack Steele is one of them, and very cheap. I'm actually considering him. Now, Bonner is 284k, 24 kicks and 4 handballs. That's insane. Okay, the kick to handball ratio is 6-1. That is nuts. Now, 3 tackles. Okay. He's not a contested position player, only 3, but he's an outside player. And 6 clangers. Now, take off the 6 clangers. And he doesn't have usually clangers, okay? So, this score of 102 is actually low. This score of 102 could have been 120, 130 if you didn't have those clangers. Milera, NWM, also 21 kicks and 4 handballs. Their defenders don't handball, they just kick. Okay, NWM, Wanganeen Malera, 101. That's another good score. He's priced at 475 though, whereas Bonner's priced at 284. So Bonner's 200k cheaper. But they're the same player, virtually. But Bonner's a bit cheaper. And Malera had more of the kick-ins. He hogged them. He didn't let my boy have it. He was getting greedy. I think he saw the Supercoach scores and got jealous. Anyway, going further down. Darcy Wilson didn't have his best game because in the pre-season he had an unbelievable game. But still, it's not bad for a rookie, 66. He did better than some of my primos. So that's not bad. So that's a good score. And I was watching Philippou a lot because he was on my radar in case I needed a forward because I saw what happened with the fish. So I was looking for a replacement, but Philippou isn't the one. Okay, so pass on Philippou. And that's pretty much, well, there's a Al Plater here. I don't think he scored much. 4 points and had a whole quarter to play it, so he didn't do too well. And it's Collard. Now we go to Gold Coast and Adelaide. And this was a close game. Okay, only 4 points of difference. It was a wet game. It was a game that suited tough guys, okay? And that's when Matt Rowell entered. 155, although he was on 163, got scaled down. Now, check the clearances, only 9, okay? 9 clearances, last week he had 20. But it's the contested possessions that count. Last week, he didn't have much contested possessions because it was too easy for him against Richmond. He needs to play against good opposition. That's where he scores better, okay? When it's easy opposition, he just gets the ball. It's not even contested, he just grabs it. So it was actually good for him that he played Adelaide, which gave him the contested possessions and the 10 tackles. Last week was only 5 tackles because he always had the ball. What's the point of tackling if you got the ball? Just come it down. Anyway, this was a huge game. 29 touches. His tank has increased. Last year it was going on 20. Now he's going on nearly 30. So 80% time on ground, 72% disposal efficiency. He's a jet. Okay, he's the weapon. You can actually say he is a weapon. Okay, and only 12% own him. If you don't own him, which a lot of people don't, 88% don't. You're going to be very angry watching him play, and if he's going to, especially if he starts scoring like that, and you're going to wonder, when do I get him in? Okay, when do I pull the plug and get him in? Well, you'd probably have too many problems to fix right now. Plus, he's got the buy round, and the worst part is he's priced at, where is his price? I just saw it before. Well, he's about 580k. His price is going to skyrocket. He scored 130 last week, or 140, I can't remember, and 155 this week. So that's 200. That's nearly 300 points, nearly, in 2 weeks. His price is going to go nuts. Now, Took Miller. Again, he had a big week last week too, 125 or something off the top of the head, and 137 this week. How do I get him in? I've got Rowell. I've got who else do I have? I've got Tom Green. I got. Now I'm going to get Took Miller, and virtually he's priced at 545k. If you don't get him, his price is going to be about 570 or so. You're going to lose 30k. To be honest, I'm going to get him this week. I'm happy to lose points on the buy round than to lose 30k. The 30k is more important for me right now than the 50 points. So Took Miller's going to come on my team. Happy to lose 50 points this week. Then you got another problem, Flanders, which is another big problem. He's 494k. So who do you get? You get Took Miller or Flanders? Well, that's a big problem. And Flanders also went well last week. I'm probably going to get Flanders. I don't know who to get. Flanders is going to play against the Dogs. They're going to be a tougher opposition to play against. And they're playing in Ballarat. Okay, then they have the bye. So I'll have to work out the break-evens of these two and see which one I'm going to get. But Flanders might struggle against the Dogs. Now, next up, Will Powell. Last week, a big score. This week, a big score. And he's priced at 513k. Looks like the way he plays is suited towards the hardwood game style. He looks, but you can't get him because you got all these. But you're just gonna watch him anyway. He looks good. Now going down, you got Tom Berry. He's 163k for Tom Berry. He only kicked 1 goal, so it's not like he went nuts. Only 1 goal, 163k. He scored a 104. Okay, big cash cow. Almost a must-have, especially if he goes nuts next week. He's going to be a must-have. So we'll see how he goes. Who do you get? Now, going down, Wits, only 81. Very disappointing. I can't actually believe that he only scored 81. Even the Adelaide ruckman scored 75. Something is wrong with the ruckman this year. They're not scoring. We saw Briggs not score. We saw Grundy not score. O'Brien's not scoring. We got Wits not scoring. What's going on? Okay, mind you, it was a wet day. They couldn't take marks. So maybe that's a possibility. Okay. Now, Sexton scored 63. I mean, normally you'd say you're happy with that. But with Sexton, we were expecting him to go better. Okay, but we'll take the 63 anyway. At least it's not as bad as somebody, which we'll mention in a minute. Actually, we'll mention him now. Buderick. 17 in a full game. That's unheard of. He's 300k. There are people there that have him in their teams. Buderick. I was thinking about Buderick I would have smashed the computer. I would have done something. Even the TV, I would have smashed that as well. Just cut a deal if I owned him. So if you own Buderick, I feel so bad for you, okay? Because how would you know? Last week he went nuts. This week, 4 kicks and 3 handballs. He didn't even touch it. Okay, the conditions didn't suit. But that's not the point. The point is he still scored 17 points. He's a spud. We now go to Adelaide Crows. And you got the Rolls Royce and the Mercedes Benz parked right next to it. You got Rory Laird, that's the Rolls Royce, and Crouch, the Mercedes Benz. And Crouch, 114, 13 kicks, 20 handballs, contested 16. Check that out. That's the important part, the contested possessions. Rory Laird, contested possessions, 14. Mind you, Crouch had 6 clangers. Take them off, and his score's going to go even better. Crouch, only 490k. I told you pre-season this kid's a jet. His points per minute are usually at 1 point per minute. He's a scoring. He owns a factory, the point scoring factory. Just calm it down. Anyway, he was in my team. I'm very happy with him. Rory Laird, we're going to wait a bit. We can't afford him yet, but he had that midfield role. He lied to us. He says he's going to play forward. I didn't even see him forward. Now, Hinge is the interesting one, and we don't have his price there. I mean, he's not cheap, okay? Scored a 102, buyer beware, okay, Hinge. There are much better options, but he did well, okay, if you got him. Now, Rankin. Now, that's an interesting one, but he's 460k. He's not cheap either, but he scored well, 97. Kicked 2 goals. He's going to usually kick 1 or 2 goals a game. 97 is a good score because he had some mid-time. As you can see here, it says here, well, starting forward, but he did rotate in the midfields. He looked good. Big disappointment coming up now is this boy here, Jordan Dawson. Okay, 650k. What are you going to do with him? He actually played in the midfield. Played a bit in the defence, but not much. Mainly in the midfields, in central midfields. And 12 contested possessions. So he had the contested possessions. 9 clangers. He butchered it. And he's a top field kick. So I wouldn't worry too much if you own Dawson. I mean, the 9 clangers, and we know Dawson is a good kick. So take away that 9 clangers, put it down to, say, 3 or 4, that's an extra 20 points. You're looking about 105, 106. So it wasn't that bad of a game for him. Just that he butchered it, but it was wet conditions, okay? Now, Sam Berry scored an 80 with a goal. He didn't have those midfield minutes. A lot of half forward, joined the mids. I was interested in getting him. I'm happy I didn't. I think it's a pass. He's even a sub risk. There's going to be days where he's going to be a sub. So I'm going to pass on him. I'd prefer McCurch at that price than Berry, which is unbelievable because I would have actually preferred Berry, the stronger body. He looked good pre-season. And even Adelaide, the club itself, was talking him up. But it's just, I don't know what it is about him. Something missing. He reminds me a lot of the Hawthorn boy. And he even played like him. Let's see what he scored, all right? He scored, where is it? He scored an 80. Well, the Hawthorn boy went worse. What did the Hawthorn boy score? Newcomb, 66. So he reminds me of Newcomb a lot. Just looks rough around the edges, okay? Looks tough, but just doesn't do it. He is a tackling machine. Did he tackle? Let's have a look. How many tackles did he have? Okay, let's bring it up. Only 4 tackles. Royded had 10. Crouch had 6. He only had 4. His job is to tackle. Okay, so it's not enough. There is room for improvement on Berry. If you own Berry, don't be disappointed. You only paid $220 for him. He scored you an 80. So don't be disappointed. It's a good score. But he's in your midfield, okay? And you want the midfielders to go nuts. So he's holding a very important spot for you. Now, going down, we talked about the Ruckman, O'Brien, didn't do nothing. Burgess, 34. I'm probably going to pass on him. I think there are better rookies, better options. And who else was there? That's about it. Now, going to my team now. You've seen it, what it looks like. I've finalised it. I can't change it now until next week or until Monday anyway. Which in your case, when you watch it, it's going to be tomorrow. Okay, but the team, we've got a couple of 130s. Okay, we've got our defenders to play. We've got Young, Howes, and Yo. Okay, they're still going to play. We've got DeBont, the captain, to play. Green 150, Rowell 150, Crouch 114, Bonner 102. So this is a good midfield, okay? Just got to fix up Martin and Roberts. McKirch is going to come here eventually, and over here I'm going to get a gun. Not sure which one yet, okay? And they're all cheap, so I'm going to get one that's good and cheap. We have to bring Massimo in here, replacing Gipkus. So Massimo comes in here. We have to bring in Hoare somehow. Okay, now I'm not sure how I'm going to do this. Okay, so we need to bring in Massimo and Hoare. Zach Reed's only injured for a week or two, so I have to keep him. So if I have to bring in Massimo or Hoare, it means that possibly Williams has to go out. Somebody has to make way. Firstly, I want to see how Hoare plays. Okay, if he's not good, he's not interested. Okay, but if he's good, he has to come in because Massimo definitely has to come in. Now in the forward line, it's shambles. Okay, Fisher has to go out. I don't know who I'm going to bring in. I don't know if I'm going to bring in a rookie. I'm hoping Reed is half decent tomorrow for West Coast. At least if I take Fisher out, bring in Reed, then I can upgrade Martin and Gipkus, and it'll be easy for me. Just hoping that even if Fife is half decent tomorrow, I'll be happy. But I need Fisher's money anyway. All right, so Fisher has to go, and Martin has to go. I need to upgrade him to a better player. I need a gun in here. So that's the plan. I was going to bring the two spuds on tonight to have a chat, but they don't deserve to be on a channel. Okay, so they're not going to have a chat tonight. They're going to come in next week after I kick them out. Okay, and they're going to explain to you why they're spuds. Okay, it's time to shame them next week. So they're going to come on next week, and they're going to talk. And we're going to have a chat. We're also going to have a team meeting next week. It's going to be a ferocious team meeting. We're going to have a crack at all the players that didn't perform. Anyway, that's all for today. Thank you for joining. And remember one thing. It's nice to be important, but it's important to be nice. Ciao for now.
That's all, folks.